This is Andrea, and I'd like to go ahead and show you guys my speech. Now, let me start off by asking many of you guys this. How many of you guys today have actually had an energy drink, or maybe even two perhaps? Now, for those of you guys who are parents, how many of you guys will allow your teenagers to drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee in a single sitting? If the answer is no, or not many of you, well, I hate to break it to you, but most energy drinks nowadays often contain double the recommended caffeine intake for young teenagers. Now, in the US, there's actually a number of different products that already have certain age restrictions in place for purchasing, and this includes stuff like tobacco, alcohol, and even cough medication. Yet, currently, there's no such restrictions in place for the purchasing of energy drinks. Now, with the growing popularity of energy drinks nowadays, we should actually be able to implement a certain type of age restrictions for teenagers, and this will be an effort to protect them from the potential risks that come from over-consuming caffeine. From the targeted marketing that's actually appeals more to young consumers, and from the lack of regulation energy drinks currently have in place. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'd like to discuss and a little bit more the consequences that come from consuming energy drinks for young teens and adolescents. I'd like to also explain a little bit more the targeted marketing that actually appeals to younger audiences, younger consumers, and actually the lack of regulation for purchasing energy drinks that is currently in place and what we can do about it. Now, most of us are actually familiar with mainly energy drinks brands such as Red Bull, Monster, Alani, and even Prime, to name a few, which are often enough promoted as energy boosters and sometimes are even used as pre-workouts. But often enough, they actually also appeal to young adults and teens just as well. And currently, without any restrictions in place, many teens and adolescents can very easily overconsume the daily recommended amount of caffeine. Now, what are some of the consequences for the overconsumption of caffeine? Now, as energy drinks actually becoming more popular among teens, so do the concerns regarding the caffeine intake. Now, according to Johns Hopkins Clinic, anyone between the ages of 12 to 18 should not consume any more than 100 milligrams of caffeine, and this is per day. Your average adult will consume up to 400 a day, and just to paint you guys a little bit of a better picture, your average latte contains 150 milligrams of caffeine. Now, brands such as Bang, Celsius, Alani, Monster, and even Prime Energy, your regular can contain anywhere from 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine. Now, research gathered by the Harvard Health actually shows us that there can be severe consequences for teens that can develop from the overconsumption of caffeine. And this can include more physical effects such as increased blood pressure, increased heart rates or palpitations, even arrhythmias and seizures. And in addition to the physical effects, it can actually many teenagers can actually develop more mental effects as well, such as anxiety, depression, and even sleep disorders such as insomnia. Now, in addition to excessive caffeine intake, many brands of energy drinks actually also contain excessive amounts of sugar in them. Your average can of Red Bull will contain anywhere from 27 grams of sugar. Your average can of Monster can contain 54 grams of sugar. Now, please note that the average recommendation for teenagers is actually only 17 teaspoons. So that makes that single can of energy drinks almost double the daily recommendation. Now, in addition to that, there's actually some side effects that can come from the overconsumption of sugars in energy drinks, and this can actually lead to obesity and even developing diabetes. Now, moving on, many energy drinks brands actually have some form of targeted marketing, and this actually appeals to many young consumers. In a study conducted in 2024, approximately 30 to 50% of the teenagers surveyed actually report that they consume some form of energy drink. Now, many brands actually have bright packaging, and they actually promote very unique flavors that appeal to younger audiences. For example, Purple Cotton Candy and Dreamsicle, to name a few. In addition to that, many brands actually also collab or have some type of celebrity influence for many of their products. And this is, for example, could be like Becky G, who collabed with Alani, and even Logan Paul, who was actually the co-creator of Prime Energy. Now, moving on to the lack of regulations and actually what we can do about it. So many brands actually already have some form of warning label on the can itself, and indicating that the energy drink is not recommended for anyone under the age of 18. But apart from that, there's actually no further regulation for the purchasing of energy drinks. Now, in the past, we've actually seen success when implementing age restrictions. Very recently, we actually changed the age recommendations from 18 to 21 for tobacco products. And in the year afterwards, we actually seen a decrease in about 10% for teenage smoking. Additionally to that, there's actually several European cities overseas which have already started implementing age restrictions for energy drinks. And it's actually been enforced by fines with actually some moderate success. Now, what did we learn today? So I actually discussed, as I discussed, we went over the potential risks of overconsumption of caffeine can have and sugars can have among teenagers and adolescents. I explained a little bit more about the targeted marketing that many brands actually appeal to younger consumers as well, and the distinct lack of regulation for teens when purchasing energy drinks. Now, for the next time you're actually in the convenience store and you're in the checkout lane and your teenager comes to you and asks you to buy an energy drinks, we should actually maybe even ask ourselves, is the short-term energy boost with its fun flavors and such really worth the risk to their long-term health? And if the answer is no, what are we doing to stopping them from buying it themselves? We actually already have certain age restrictions in place for products, and we've seen that have moderate success. So why can't we implement something similar to purchasing energy drinks, which actually can end up preventing further consequences for many of your guys' for many teenagers? And then you guys, thank you for listening.